Hey, this is Joymahidul here. At first, if you like the video, please share it with your friends and your respected comments below here. For video clips, all credits go to the movie owners. We make which are truly hidden gems to entertain people. This video is all about explaining the movie from our own point of view. For the explanation, we have used most of the video clips for the movie for the better understanding. Stay with us till the end. Enjoy the video. Please subscribe and follow. Turn on notification button.
Today, I have brought a 2019 crime mystery thriller film called The Trapped. Toward the start of the film, a young lady is grabbed by a few puzzling men in expansive light. They take her to a secretive office and limit her in a seat. Who is she? For what reason would she say she is abducted? To realize what occurs, watch till the end. Ren Jihao, a well-known writer and the proprietor of a famous news show called 24 Hours, is granted the Producer of the Year grant for addressing numerous inexplicable wrongdoings. In any case, at some point, the supporters of the show discover that Ren has been manufacturing counterfeit information to keep up with his ubiquity. His manager likewise finds out about this and flames Ren from the gig. Now that Ren's standing is harmed, he chooses to move to another spot and takes his secretary, Xiaoxi, alongside him. There Ren chooses to begin another repulsiveness show and takes his group to an unwanted structure. As they were going for the show, a harmed man appears suddenly. Ren surges him to the emergency clinic for treatment. He discovers that the man has serious copy wounds on his body. Ren is interested about the man's condition and has a go at conversing with him, however the man doesn't let's assume anything. Ren sees a baffling tattoo on his arm. Sometime thereafter, Ren gets back to his studio and tracks down an old baffling journal. Ren peruses the journal and finds out about a secretive mental shelter, where patients are dealt with as detainees. The journal is composed by a lady named Wu Ruoxin. Ren likewise sees the very tattoo that he saw before on the harmed man's hand. He hurries to the medical clinic to ask more, however he discovers that the man is no more. Ren is interested about the baffling journal and chooses to unwind reality. So he looks for help from a close buddy, who is currently a cop. Ren discovers that Ruoxin is currently being treated at a medical clinic. 1 year prior, a psychological restoration community was annihilated in the fire, and every one of the patients kicked the bucket in that fire. Ruoxin claims that she was additionally at the psychological emergency clinic, however the police can't track down any record of her being owned up to the psychological refuge. Ren is presently more inquisitive about the case and chooses to meet Ruoxin. He has a go at conversing with her. However Ruoxin actually is by all accounts damaged by the episode and says nothing. So Ren gives her his card, trusting that she will reach him once she is agreeable. Afterward, Ren discovers that Ruoxin has a place with an affluent family and is the main little girl of her folks. Ruoxin went to a far-off country to concentrate on workmanship. 2 months after she returned, her dad Wu Mali was killed. Police suspect that Ruoxin has killed her dad, and to try not to get captured, she made up her account of being snatched. A few days after the fact, Ruoxin calls Ren to meet him. After some delay, Ruoxin at long last uncovers that she was abducted by certain men, who took her to a psychological asylum. Victor, the top of the office, let Ruoxin know that her state of mind isn't steady. They are there to assist her with improving, after which she would be gotten back. Ruoxin demanded that she isn't distraught and they have committed an error, yet nobody trusted her. There she met a lady named Lulu, who was sent there by her own better half, who needed to wed another lady. After various illicit treatment strategies and torment, Lulu became frantic and freaked out. Ruoxin understood that the psychological refuge is really a jail. where Victor and his men are employed by rich individuals to capture honest individuals and turn them frantic by doing unlawful medicines on them. Since Ruoxin would not take prescriptions, Victor guided his men to twofold the dose of the drugs. They believed that Ruoxin should go distraught, very much like the other patients. Ren truly does some examination and discovers that Wu Mali was the disciple of Victor. He reasons that Wu Mali should have purposely sent Ruoxin to the psychological refuge. So Ren goes to meet Ruoxin once more and find out about her story. Ruoxin uncovers that consistently, Victor would call Lulu to his office and mate with her. Humdinger had no clue about what was befalling her and had turned into an instrument for Victor. Victor needed to do likewise with Ruoxin, which is the reason he constrained her to take medications consistently. Ren is presently beginning to trust Ruoxin's story and chooses to figure out why Ruoxin was captured in any case. So he and Xiaoxi go to meet the groups of the patients. They discover that the groups of the patients haven't seen their friends and family for a very long time, and they couldn't say whether they are alive or not. Ruoxin uncovers that she attempted to take off commonly, so the staff broke her leg to prevent her from taking off. While thinking about an exit plan, Ruoxin recalled that Lulu once educated her concerning a man who knew the most effective method to escape from the office. That man was, as a matter of fact, the patient who was locked close to her cell and frequently frightened Ruoxin. Out of franticness, Ruoxin looked for help from the man, who then, at that point, advised her to meet him at the restroom the following day. So the following day, Ruoxin went to meet the man, who confessed to her that the mysterious entry is through Victor's office and furthermore gave her the secret word. As a trade-off for the data, the man needed to mate with her. However, Ruoxin went after him and got away. She figured out how to open the entryway utilizing the secret key and advanced toward the subsequent entryway. Be that as it may, sadly, the secret phrase didn't deal with the subsequent door and it set off a caution. Before she could imagine anything, Lulu came there and made an example on the divider utilizing her finger. Ruoxin understood that she was drawing an example of the secret phrase and immediately opened the second entryway. She entered Victor's office and attempted to track down the mysterious entry, yet couldn't find anything aside from a Goliath pipe. Whenever Victor came to his office, he heard a few commotions coming from the line. He discovered that Ruoxin was attempting to escape and required his men to get her. Ruoxin slithered through the line and in the end figured out how to escape from the psychological shelter. She went over 2 cops and looked for help from them. Yet, incidentally, she just started imagining that her inconveniences are finished. She discovered that the cops were working with Victor, and gave Ruoxin to Victor's men. She was returned to the psychological refuge, where Victor needed to eliminate her body organs and sell them on the bootleg market. Ren questions Ruoxin, assuming she realized that her dad was the person who sent her to the psychological refuge. Ruoxin answers that Wu Mali isn't her dad, as her genuine dad passed on when she was a youngster. Abruptly, Ruoxin's beginnings getting a migraine and blacks out. The specialist tells Ren that Ruoxin has a few obstructed recollections that are causing serious disturbance. Ren goes to meet his chief and enlightens her beginning and end regarding Wu Ruoxin. Damon Transnational Group is a privately owned company of Wu Ruoxin's mom, Li Jenny. Li Jenny's dad made a will prior to passing on, as indicated by which, Li Jenny got a 70% stake in the organization, and the remainder of 30% was acquired by Ruoxin. Wu Mali is Ruoxin's stepfather, who had no case of the organization. Prior to biting the dust, Li Jenny made a will and moved every one of her stakes to Wu Mali. Yet, Wu Mali needed unlimited authority of the organization, which is the reason he got Ruoxin kidnapped by Victor. Ren needs to examine the story and restarts his show, 24 Hours, to uncover reality. During the transmission, Ren plays a phony recording that he made himself to cause everybody to accept that Ruoxin was truly abducted by Victor and his men. In the wake of watching the news, Ruoxin chooses to meet Ren once more. She educates him regarding Lin Feng, one of the staff who worked for Victor. He was tired of Victor and his unlawful organ-dealing racket. So he chose to help Ruoxin and approached a number that Ruoxin provided for her. There was a man named Li Yizhou, who was frantically looking for Ruoxin after her vanishing. Yizhou showed up at the psychological refuge and tracked down Wu Mali there. Wu Mali had requested that Victor make a passing authentication of Ruoxin to acquire her percent of the offer. In the interim, Yizhou figured out how to slip into the psychological shelter. Feng took him to the torment room, where they observed Ruoxin lying oblivious. As they made their getaway from the psychological refuge, they got found out by Victor's men. Victor uncovered to Ruoxin that it was her dad Wu Mali, who paid him to kidnap her. Furthermore, even have arranged a passing authentication for her. Victor then, at that point, continued to eliminate Yizhou's organs and kill him. In the interim, Lulu entered Victor's office and sat tight for him inside. She lit every one of the candles in the workplace, which then, at that point, burst into flames. As Victor was going to cut open Yizhou's stomach, he found out about the fire. He hurried to his office to get his cash, however wound up passing on in the fire. In the interim, Ruoxin figured out how to free herself with the assistance of Lulu. Feng attempted to escape from the structure yet got found out in the fire. Ruoxin and Yizhou advanced toward the exit, however out of nowhere somebody got Yizhou and hauled him into the fire. Ruoxin some way or another figured out how to get away and gotten back. Yet, one thing that Ren can't sort out is who killed Wu Mali. He blames Ruoxin for killing her stepfather. In any case, Ruoxin denies the allegation and uncovers that her dad was looking at her. He made actual advances towards her when her mom wasn't anywhere near. Ruoxin was tired of Wu Mali and really needed to kill him. However, after the psychological refuge was annihilated, Wu Mali realized that he would have been captured for his wrongdoings. So he ended it all by shooting himself. Ren trusts Ruoxin's story and broadcasts her story on his show. Ruoxin is presently liberated from the charges of homicide of her stepfather. Ren then again has recaptured his standing. He commends his prosperity with Xiaoxi. She questions Ren about why the demise testament of Ruoxin's mom was endorsed by Victor, yet, Ren has no great reason. Afterward, Ren goes to pick Ruoxin from the emergency clinic and drives her to her home. Prior to withdrawing, Ruoxin lets Ren know that patients were not permitted to have sharp items like pens in the psychological refuge, as they can be utilized as murder weapons. That's what Ren understands in the event that the patients were not permitted to have a pen. Then, at that point, Ruoxin could have composed nothing in the journal. Incidentally, the journal has a place with Feng, who endured the fire and put his journal in Ren's vehicle when he was being taken to the clinic. Ren interfaces every one of the pieces and sorts out that Ruoxin was never seized by Victor. All things considered, it was her mom who was snatched by Victor and his men. Wu Mali needed to acquire the portion of Ruoxin's mom. There was no man named Li Yizhou, yet it was Ruoxin who was looking for her mom. Feng reached her and called her to the psychological haven. Whenever she was gotten, Victor attempted to cut open her stomach before the psychological haven got fire. Subsequent to losing her mom in the fire-related accident, Ruoxin got back and killed Wu Mali without hesitating. Whenever Ren moved toward her with the journal, Ruoxin chose to involve this as a chance to clear her name from the homicide. Ren told everything to the police, after which Ruoxin was captured and condemned to death appropriately. Be that as it may, during her detainment, she uncovered every one of the dim mysteries about Wu Mali, in light of the fact that of which her capital punishment was decreased to life detainment. So this was the story of The Trapped. If you liked the video, then do watch the full film, and if you want to watch more such amazing recaps, then do subscribe to our channel and follow our page. See you in the next time.